Richard, you're on the air.
Thank you for taking my call, Mr. Jones and Mr. Springmeier. I'd just like to ask you, have you guys ever heard of the black BOUL'E? They're the other side of the skull and bones. They're there to protect the white skull and bones. They operate out of the Greek system, the Kappa, Phi, Beta, and all the different other groups, subgroups, and they're pretty much recruited out of the top colleges and universities, black and white universities.
Yeah, I know there's all sorts of spin-offs of lodges. That's why Skull and Bones is 322. And then they'll test people at these things. They'll say, okay, now we're going to have sex with a goat, you know, as part of the ritual for the university. You're like, well, that's gross. Well, you're not going to be in the club. Because if you'll go along with this, next it's going to be people. But yeah, let's get Fritz's comment on how all these other societies are feeders into the darker rat holes.
The black BOUL'E, I did write about it at one point, but what I wrote didn't get published or in print. But yes, I was aware that they have organizations for the blacks that want to participate in all of this. You're right. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yes, sir. Anything else?
Yes, they have their own flag, their own song. And to me, they're some of the biggest sellouts because they're the ones that help keep the races separated, because they're the ones that push the race card the most. They're the ones that, tell black
people. It's funny you say that, and God bless you. We're about to go to break, but call back in again. I want to hear more about that.
So you see, people, Alex Jones is the #1 info man in the world right now. They made him patient zero when they started removing all the conservative, we'll just say, influential talking heads off of the worldwide net. Alex was the first to go because they figured if they could get rid of him without causing any street violence or any type of reaction from the right, then they would be free to go ahead and remove what Alex has recently revealed, over 200 million accounts now. So now what we're dealing with now is a force that needs to be reckoned with. And we need to reckon with them right now, because if we don't, we will be, for lack of a better way to put it, exterminated. Now that young man, Fritz Springmeier, who Alex was interviewing, he said that he tried to expose this, I'll call them secret organization because nobody never mentions their name, the Black BOUL'E. He says he started trying to release material on them before they put him in prison, but it never got published. But it's time that the Black BOUL'E gets exposed, because those are the friendly blacks that you see every day in media. Don Lemon, Reverend Jesse Jackson, Reverend Al Sharpton, NAACP chapters, Urban League, whatever. Any source of, we'll just say, information coming from the left that's being presented by one of your elite blacks, they're usually Black BOUL'E. And their motto is service to the kings. Now you say, what kings? We're talking about the perennial kings that span from, we'll just say, generation to generation. The ILLUMINATI kings. That's right, the secret society kings, the bloodline kings, the power elite. That's who Fritz Springmeier was going to expose before he was put in prison for exposing the entire bloodline of the Illuminati. So I'm assuming if you hear from Alex Jones, the info warrior, the king of all information, not no damn Rush Limbaugh, and if you hear from this man, Fritz Springmeier, who sacrificed his entire life to exposing the bloodline of the Illuminati, then you might start paying attention to who the Black BOUL'E really are, because nobody never utters their names. Well, I did all I can do to expose them. I've called multiple shows, black and white, and nobody never follows up on the information. But now that you've heard it from the, we'll just say, the authorities on the subject, maybe you'll pay attention to who they are. Because they want us rioting in the streets. They want us fighting with each other, black, white, gay, straight, ugly, beautiful, short, tall. They're not going to be happy until they deliver our heads on the platters of the elites, the Illuminati. And remember, they're just the black hand. They deliver the final blows. They're the ones who tell us to get the vaccines. They're the ones who tell us to go fight in the wars in the Middle East, like Colin Powell. Remember he gave that presentation about where Iraq was creating the, we'll just say, weapons of mass destruction? Colin Powell delivered that final message and we all came aboard. Obama bombed Libya and turned it into a slaver nation once again. See, we can't trust none of these people. Eric Holder delivered the guns down on the border fast and furiously. We gotta start looking at who our black representatives really are and looking at how rich they've gotten. Cynthia McKinney tried to expose them. Bobby Hemmett tried to expose them. Steve Coakley was probably murdered because he did the most extensive work that I've seen. You can go to YouTube and look at it. We're talking about Steve Coakley, the now deceased Steve Coakley. He exposed the Black BOUL'E. Do yourself a favor and go discover them for yourself. Signing off.